The desert wind carries whispers of power, betrayal, and blood. Out here, every decision has a price, and every shadow hides a secret, in a land where loyalty is earned with fire and bullets. A new force rises ruthless, unstoppable, and ready to claim what is theirs. This is not just a story of survival. It is a story of domination, where every move is calculated, every card is dangerous, and every action echoes with consequences that cannot be undone. The blood aces are coming. And the game is about to change forever. The camera sweeps over the vast open plains, a golden sunrise breaking across rugged mountains and endless stretches of desert. Dust rises from the dry earth as the wind pushes through abandoned barns and old wooden fences. Cows graze in silence near a creek that glistens under the early light. This is a land that has seen generations of settlers, outlaws, and fighters, each leaving their mark on the soil. The scent of earth and leather seems almost tangible, and the quiet is both calming and threatening at the same time. Every rock, every tree, every small structure tells a story. A wagon wheel lies broken beside a weathered barn, hinting at struggles long past, and distant silhouettes of horses move slowly across the horizon. The world of blood aces is one where the natural beauty of the land hides danger lurking beneath that inn. The small town at the edge of the valley, life moves cautiously. The saloon doors swing in the wind, creaking with every gust, as if warning travelers to be careful of who they trust. Horses paw at the ground outside, anxious, their riders unseen, leaving only dust trails that fade into the distance. A blacksmith works in the dim light of his shop, hammering metal with a rhythm that echoes across the street. Every clang sounds like a warning. Power must be earned. Strength must be proven. And weakness is exploited. Shops are shuttered, windows dusty, signs faded with time, giving the town an almost ghostly feeling. Yet activity hums under the surface. Traders move quickly, eyes scanning every corner. Every face, every movement, every shadow carries weight. The sky shifts as clouds gather, casting dark shadows over the valley. Thunder rumbles far away, distant but growing louder. The land feels alive, as if it is aware of the coming storm. In the background, the mountains rise like silent sentinels, jagged peaks that have witnessed countless battles and betrayals. Rivers carve deep paths through the terrain, reflecting the sky's changing moods. This land is unforgiving. A single misstep can lead to disaster. Roads twist through canyons and over ridges. And travelers must navigate not only the landscape, but the unseen threats that lurk in every corner. Bandits, outlaws, and those seeking revenge make the roads dangerous. And whispers of the blood aces reach far beyond the valley, spreading fear and anticipation. At night, the world transforms. Fires burn in the open, casting flickering light over the campgrounds where cowboys rest, weary eyes scanning the darkness. Wolves howl in the distance, echoing across the plains as coyotes skirt the edges of the camps. Lanterns glow in windows of the saloon, revealing fleeting glimpses of men counting cards, handling guns, or whispering secrets. The night carries tension in every shadow. Silence is broken only by the crackling of fire and the occasional distant gunshot, signaling that someone's power is being challenged. Here, under the stars, the land feels infinite and dangerous all at once. Every movement in the dark can mean opportunity or threat. Every decision can ignite a chain of events that cannot be controlled. The blood aces thrive in this world, knowing that control belongs to those willing to take it and willing to bleed for it. The first section closes with the sense of anticipation. The camera lingers over the hills and valleys, catching the slow movement of horses, the glint of a distant rifle, and the faint trace of smoke rising from a far-off camp. The landscape is vast, beautiful, and deadly. The world of blood aces is unforgiving, and only the strongest survive. The stage is set, the tension is thick, and the game is just beginning. Every step, every breath, every glance matters. Power. Here is a dangerous card to play, and the blood aces are ready to claim it. The wind carries a sharp scent of gunpowder and dust as the first hints of movement stir across the valley. Silhouettes emerge on horseback, riding along the ridges where the sun casts long, golden shadows over the rugged terrain. Each horse's hooves pound the earth with a rhythm that feels like a warning. There is purpose in every step, precision in every motion. These are no ordinary travelers. The Blood Aces move as a unit, silent yet commanding, their presence felt before it is fully seen. Dust swirls around their boots, trails of grit rising behind them as though the land itself bends to mark their path. Inside the town, life pulses with a quiet tension. Doors creak open and shut, small figures dart across alleyways, and the faint metallic glint of revolvers tucked beneath coats catches the light. Horses stamp impatiently outside the saloon, tails flicking against the heat, hoofs digging into the parched earth. Cards shuffle across tables inside, hands hover over guns, and the murmurs of deals being made are punctuated by the occasional sharp laughter that dies just as quickly as it comes. Every movement is watched, every glance catalogued, and every decision measured. The Blood Aces have arrived, and even their presence alone shifts the balance of power. Along the edges of the valley, outlaws and rivals sense the approach. Shadows flicker in abandoned buildings, eyes peering through broken windows, fingers brushing against triggers hidden beneath dust-covered cloths. The tension grows in waves, invisible yet heavy. Every horseman, every silhouette in the distance, becomes a threat. The camera pans over a rocky cliff where a lone figure crouches, scanning the horizon, and the glint of sunlight off a knife hints at the danger that waits for any misstep. The Blood Aces are not just entering the land, they are claiming it, staking territory with quiet menace and calculated force. The wind shifts again, carrying the faint sounds of gunfire from a distant ridge. Echoes of conflict ripple through the hills, warning that control here is contested. The Blood Aces' riders flow, scanning the valley below, their silhouettes framed against the rising smoke from skirmishes unseen but heard. Every step, every movement feels deliberate, measured, almost ritualistic. This is a game of strategy as much as of strength. Cards are laid, alliances are tested, and every action carries consequences. The land itself seems to react to their presence. Trees sway as if whispering secrets. The dust bounces in spirals, and the distant howl of a coyote punctuates the tension like a clock counting down. Night begins to descend over the valley, turning the golden plains into dark swathes of shadow. Fires burn in small camps along the edges of the town, revealing fleeting glimpses of faces obscured by hats, guns resting nearby, and poker chips clinking on tables. The Blood Aces move with an almost predatory calm, circling the town from the ridges, observing, calculating. The air is thick with anticipation, and silence carries more weight than words ever could. Even the stars above seem distant, cold, as if bearing witness to the battles and betrayals that are about to unfold. The first confrontations are hinted at in flashes, a horse rearing, a fist slamming onto wood, a gun slowly lifted from its holster. Every second builds toward inevitability. By the time darkness fully blankets the valley, the Blood Aces' presence has shifted everything. Their shadows stretch long across the streets and hills, marking territory before a single word is spoken. Their reputation travels faster than they do, whispered in alleys and across tables. They are unseen yet impossible to ignore. Every step into town is calculated, every move deliberate, and every action promises consequences. In this world, the weak do not survive. The strong do, but not without cost. The Blood Aces are no longer a rumor, they are the force that will shape the valley, the lawless land, and the hearts of those daring enough to oppose them. The night deepens, and the valley seems to hold its breath. Lanterns flicker along the streets of the town, casting long, jagged shadows that stretch across wooden planks and dusty roads. The Blood Aces move through the darkness like ghosts, boots silent, horses barely making a sound as they circle the town from every ridge and path. Every step, every turn is measured, a careful dance of threat and strategy. Somewhere in the distance, a wolf howls, and the sound echoes off the cliffs, punctuating the growing unease that settles over the town like a storm cloud. Smoke drifts, lazuli from chimneys, curling in the cold night air, carrying with it the scent of burning wood and gunpowder. Inside the saloon, the clinking of glasses and shuffling of cards is tense, nervous. The atmosphere is thick with suspicion. Every glance at a stranger could mean life or death. Hands hover over guns, knuckles white, ready to strike at the first sign of betrayal. Outside, shadows stretch across the walls, hinting at movements. Unseen but deeply felt, the blood aces are not just present, they are the pulse of the town, and everyone senses it. Even those hiding in the corners, eyes peering through cracks in doors or windows, feel the shift in power before it fully arrives. The valley itself seems alive with tension. The wind wrestles through tall grasses and over rocks, carrying whispers of past conflicts, of grudges held for decades. Horses shift nervously in the distance, and the faint sound of a gun being cocked echoes across the plains. The blood aces advance methodically, their every motion radiating quiet menace. A sudden fire ignites in the background, maybe from a torch, maybe from gunfire, and it illuminates silhouettes in quick, jagged flashes. Horses rear, throwing riders into the chaos. And the first distant shouts of confrontation pierce the night. The blood aces respond with precision. Every step, every movement, every calculated decision sends a message. They are here to dominate, and nothing can stand in their way. Faces are unseen, but tension crackles in the air, visible in every shadow. Every shift of light, every twitch of a horse's ear, every alley and corridor seems alive with the potential for violence. The town's tension spreads like wildfire. Windows slam shut, doors are barred, and figures move quickly through alleys, hiding or preparing for confrontation. The wind carries the faint scent of blood and gunpowder, an invisible reminder that the game being played is not safe. A single candle flickers on a windowsill, then goes out as a distant gunshot echoes across the valley. Horses whinny and bolt, dust rising behind them in clouds that obscure the silhouettes of riders converging on the central street. Every step now feels like a heartbeat in a drumline of impending conflict, slow and heavy, carrying the inevitability of collision. From the ridges above, the blood aces watch and wait, shadows stretching like tendrils into the town below. There, silence is deafening, a promise of action that looms before anyone can even react. The air is electric, tension practically visible as dust hangs in the pale moonlight. No words are spoken, but the story is clear. Someone will take control tonight, and someone will fall. The land itself seems to hold its breath, awaiting the storm that is about to break. Every shadow hides a secret, every flicker of light reveals a threat, and every movement signals a change in power. The valley is a chessboard, and the blood aces have the first move. The first light of dawn creeps across the horizon, but the valley is still wrapped in shadows, and the tension has not. East, it has only grown heavier. Dust swirls across the streets like smoke from distant fires, moving in patterns as if the land itself anticipates what is about to unfold. The blood aces advance, silhouettes sharp against the rising light, their horses' hoofs sending tremors through the ground. Every movement is deliberate, measured, as though each step carries the weight of destiny. The quiet before the storm is deafening, and even the wind seems to pause in respect or fear of what is coming. Shadows stretch across the town, long and jagged against the wooden buildings. Doors that were once locked and barred are flung open, and figures move swiftly into the streets, guns drawn, boots kicking up clouds of dust. The standoff has begun, though no words are spoken, only glances and gestures that speak volumes. The blood aces take positions with precision, surrounding their opponents, circling them like predators assessing their prey. The land itself seems too tense, rocks jutting out from the ground catching the first rays of light, and every clink of spurs and shuffling of feet adds to the rhythm of impending conflict. From the ridges above, the valley stretches out like a battlefield. Smoke drifts lazily from distant fires, carrying the smell of gunpowder and burning wood. Horses rear and snort, their riders ready for any sudden movement. The first gunshot echoes across the plains, a sharp, metallic sound that cracks the morning. Stillness. Dust rises into the sky in clouds that blur the line between reality and threat. Hands tighten on rifles, fingers hover over triggers, and cards left scattered on tables in the saloon hint at the high-stakes games being played not just with money, but with power, blood, and survival. The blood aces move with relentless precision, cutting through chaos like a knife through fabric, never wavering, never hesitating. Every alleyway, every rooftop, every shadow holds tension. Horses clash, boots pound the wooden streets, and the faint clatter of falling objects punctuates the chaos. Silhouettes flicker across the smoke and dust, making it impossible to know who is friend or foe. The blood aces are both everywhere and nowhere, a force that dominates through presence alone. A horse crashes through a saloon door, dust and debris flying as the world seems to tilt on the edge of disaster. The valley echoes with shouts, distant gunfire, and the sound of hooves kicking up dirt. No faces are shown, but the intent is clear. The game has escalated, and the stakes are life or death. As the battle reaches its peak, the valley seems to explode with motion and noise. But amidst the chaos, the blood aces remain steady. They are calm, collected, and unstoppable. Silhouettes converge at the center of the town, guns raised, dust swirling like a curtain around them. Fires burn, illuminating the scene in flickering orange and red. Shadows dancing across buildings and streets. Every movement is choreographed by instinct and strategy, each step a calculated declaration of control. The world bends around them, acknowledging their dominance. Finally, the dust begins to settle, and the valley holds its breath again. Horses stand panting, smoke drifts upward, and the streets bear the scars of conflict. The blood aces' figures are now unmistakable against the clearing sky, a presence both commanding and terrifying. Their claim is made, silent yet absolute. The land, the town, and the people know that nothing will ever be the same. Power has changed hands, and the blood aces are now the force to be reckoned with. The scene freezes in a lingering moment, dust hanging in the golden morning light, hinting that while the battle may be over for now, the war in the story has only just begun. The valley is quiet now, but it is a fragile quiet, thick with the weight of what has just occurred. The morning sun climbs higher, brushing golden light across the rugged landscape, but the shadows of the night's chaos linger in every corner. Dust still rises in lazy spirals from the streets, carried by the wind like whispers of a story only partially told. Broken barrels, scattered cards, and discarded hats mark the remnants of conflict, silent testimony to a battle that has shifted power in an instant. The town itself seems to hold its breath, watching, waiting, sensing that the calm is temporary, that the storm is never truly over. From the ridges and hills that frame the valley, the blood aces are already in motion. Silhouettes on horseback move like shadows across the golden fields, scanning the horizon, assessing the land and the people. Their presence dominates without a word, each figure a symbol of strength, cunning, and relentless ambition. Horses' hooves stir up trails of dust that linger in the air, catching the light in glimmers that hint at movement and mystery. Even in victory, there is no celebration, no boasting, only careful observation, planning, and quiet preparation for the next challenge. This is a force that knows the value of patience, the cost of missteps, and the power of fear wielded silently. The town stirs reluctantly, windows open slowly, doors creak under cautious hands, and figures step into the streets, surveying the aftermath. Whispers pass from lips to lips, eyes darting toward the distant riders on the hills. Who are they? What will they do next? No one dares to approach too closely. Even those who consider themselves brave feel the weight of an unseen authority pressing down, invisible yet undeniable. The blood aces have claimed not just the town, but the valley itself in spirit, and every glance, every step, every breath is now measured against their shadow. The quiet of the morning carries tension like a drumbeat, slow but insistent, reminding everyone that power is never final, and survival is always uncertain. As the sun rises fully, distant movements hint at the beginning of the next chapter. Smoke curls in the far distance, suggesting new threats, new conflicts waiting to ignite. Horses graze in the open plains, but ears twitch at every sound, muscles coiled as if ready to bolt. The valley, once still and serene, now hums with anticipation. Trails lead out of town, paths wind into canyons and across ridges, and every route carries risk, promise, or both. The blood aces move along these paths with a deliberate grace, silent observers and silent judges, marking territory and taking note of potential allies and enemies alike. Their influence stretches far beyond the streets they just claimed it, reaches into the wilds, the hills, and the hearts of all who dare to challenge them. By mid-morning, the town has regained a tentative sense of life. Merchants set up stalls, horses are fed and saddled, and dust is brushed off boots and tables. Yet even amidst this return to routine, the shadow of the blood aces looms large. Figures pause in the street, glancing toward the ridges, knowing that the game is not over. Alliances will shift, rivalries will flare, and the land itself will test every move made from this point onward. Every step forward carries echoes of the past night's events, and every glance toward the horizon holds the promise of future danger. The blood aces have risen, and with their rise comes a new era of power, control, and unspoken rules where every ace played carries a price. And every hand left unturned could change the course of lives forever. As the section closes, the camera lingers on the valley, stretching wide across hills, canyons, and rivers glinting in sunlight. Horses move along distant ridges, figures pause in the streets, and a single trail of smoke curls into the sky, signaling that the story is far from over. The blood aces' presence is now permanent, their influence undeniable, and the world they inhabit has been reshaped. The valley waits, tense and alive, as the next chapter of this dangerous, ruthless, and enthralling saga begins. Every shadow, every trail,